Good morning, my name is Jeff Lonnett and welcome back to Learn Now. In last week's episode, we focused on using our eyes to break down the elements of a picture, to think about the things that are there so that we can fully connect to it. We're going to build on some of those skills today. But as always, we're going to focus on three important things. Number one, stretching our brains. Number two, thinking deeply. And number three, and most importantly, having a lot of fun, so that we can continue to develop skills that will be important to us today, tomorrow, and throughout our lives. The skills that we're going to focus on today are: I use information in creative ways to deepen my understanding, and I read to understand and learn. So let's talk about things that we get information from. Last week, we talked about newspapers and magazines and blogs and advertisement. But is that the only place we get information? How about just using our eyes? What do we see? Can we read just by looking at the world? Can we take information in? And when we do this, we see things all the time, but do we really truly see? And what happens if we train our eyes to slow down and really appreciate the world around us? I went outside this morning and picked up two simple objects, a leaf and a twig. And these are things that we walk by every single day and never give them a glance. But what happens if we slow down and look at them? Let's take a close look. Here's our twig and our leaf. They don't look like much here, but what happens if we use the eyes of a scientist and zoom in closer? When we zoom in, we see the bumps, we see the textures, we see the wood grain. Some parts are thick, some parts are thin. There are a lot of amazing details that we would have never seen if we hadn't zoomed in and taken the time to use the eyes of a scientist. We can do the same thing with the leaf. The outer edge, you can see it's like teeth of a saw going around. It's not smooth. It has a lot of details to it. You can see these burnt marks in the leaf where it's starting to die off because it's old. You can see veins that look like roadways going across, but only if we look close and examine it. So we're going to take the time to slow down and try to see. Our challenge for today: how can you develop the eyes of a scientist so that you can see the amazing details that make up the world around us? Let's take a look at the supplies we'll need and then get started. We talked earlier about the skills we'll use. I read to understand and learn, and I use information in creative ways to deepen my understanding. The materials are easy: a pen and a piece of paper. I'm going to encourage you to use a pen rather than a pencil today because I don't want you to think that you should erase. We're not going to. We're just going to keep working. I also want you to watch these videos at your own pace. You can watch the whole thing, or you can break it up into smaller segments and hit pause in between the activities. It's completely up to you. I'm going to put my leaf on my piece of paper, and I'm going to start with my eyes where the star is. And I'm slowly going to move my eyes around the leaf, very slowly. Now, with my pen, every time I move my eyes, I'm going to move my pen the same way, capturing every contour of the leaf, very, very slowly. Now, it's natural for your eyes to want to look at your pen. Instead, try to just look at the leaf. If you do, you'll capture the details. I sped up my video a little bit. When we get to the things like the stem, you'll want to think that it's just one little line, but it's not. The stem actually has thickness. We want to capture that thickness. Don't draw what you think, draw what you see. Every detail, every line, draw what you see. I'm going to do the same thing with the stick. Start at the bottom, move your eyes slowly around, and as your eyes move, you want to make your pen move the same way. You want to use the eyes of a scientist that are looking at every single detail very, very slowly. And the good thing about using sticks and leaves It's okay if things don't come out perfectly, they still look pretty good. So don't worry about it. This is about training us to see, not making beautiful artwork. But you'll get better and better. I encourage you to do it a couple times because you'll improve each time. My video is speeding up, but that's only because I don't want the video to be too long. Take your time and go super slow. After seeing a couple samples, I think you're ready to start on your own. It's really easy to do, you just have to give it a shot. The first thing to do is to go find an object. I encourage you to start with things like leaves and sticks because even if you mess up, it still looks like a leaf or a stick. It's easy things to start with. Then sit at a table so you can focus and keep your eyes on the object and move your eyes slowly around the object very, very carefully. And every time your eyes move, move the pen at the same time very slowly. I also encourage you to don't just do it once, do it a lot of times. The more you do it, the better you'll get. And remember, use the eyes of a scientist to break down what you're seeing, carefully look at the details and textures, and you'll start recognizing beauty in a lot of things. So I hope you had fun doing this activity, and I want to take the time to encourage you to reflect on what you did. What did you do well? What did you like about it? Did you notice that you got better and better as you went? And how much better would you do if you tried it again? And go back to the skills that we talked about. Did you use your eyes to gain new information and deepen your understanding? I hope so. Don't forget to share your work with your family, with your teacher, or with me. It's important to share the things we do and talk about them. And remember, you can go back and do an activity like this anytime. All you need is an object that you can look closely at. I used a leaf and a stick, but I could have used a lot of different things. It's up to you. It's true, you will improve your ability to draw if you do activities like this, but most importantly, you'll improve your ability to see the amazing world around us if you just slow down and use the eyes of a scientist. I hope this video helps you go the distance with your learning, even while you're at home. See you next time.